let's take a quick seat. Oh my gosh, the sun is right in my eyes. Let's try that at a different angle. Folks. My, oh my, the time of year is here for NJSIAA boys soccer playoffs, and especially for the team that I'm wearing on my hoodie today, the Audubon Green Wave. Students are just filing in. School let out about 10 to 15 minutes ago, but we've been here since 1:45, setting up, getting ready for the round of 16 game between the Pennsville Eagles and the Audubon Green Wave. I'm Dan Wilkins. No Matt Wagner today. Unfortunately, on Monday, he did get into a little bit of a car accident on the highway, hydroplaning his car in the rain. He has a little bit of hurt ribs and wrist, but he is okay, recovering. Just won't be here today. He'll be watching in spirit from his home in Gloucester City to support the Audubon Green Wave, his former team that he graduated from in 2021. However, even though I am flying solo, doesn't mean things are going to be any different today for the Audubon Green Wave, especially as their lineup is very similar to what they had before. Let's pull that out real quick. As coached by Mike Tomasetti, let's give you the starting 11s and pregame show presented by DJK Roofing, South Jersey's #1 roofing supplier with over 200 5-star reviews on the internet. If you have any questions or want to get a free quote from them, go to djkroofing.com. Now for Tomasetti's Green Wave, as the wind has definitely picked up in the last couple of minutes, but it'll be Tyler Wiltsey, Blaise LaFrance, Jason Stockland, George Heller, Tony Giordano, Ben Cameron, Kaina Ogunafere, Trent Banel, Hassan Kasich, RJ Homa, and Hayden Wiltsey, with, as we said, Trent Banel being in the goal today. That'll be what they'll do going forward. I mean, Audubon had a goalie crisis at the start of the season. They were going back and forth between Gabe McCracken and Andrew Troe, the former being a sophomore, the latter being a junior. And Gabe was new to the sport. He wanted to try out soccer because his friends were playing it and he wanted to join them, and he did. And even though things now are in Trent Banel's hands, quite literally, it ends up actually working out, because look at what happened at the end of the season. 6 straight shutouts en route to a 13-5 final regular season result for the Green Wave, which is amazing. That's great that was able to happen for Audubon. And also, Matt Wagner did follow through on his deal. He went to the Cherry Hill Mall with Trent and a couple of his buddies and bought him new goalie gloves. I know that we were talking about that during the Maple Shade game, where Matt had a wager going on where Trent, if he shut out the rest of the season, would get new goalie gloves, brand new from Matt, and he used his UPS money well and bought them there. So let's go to the visiting lineup for the Pennsville Eagles, as coached by Derek Foglein. Now, Foglein is the younger brother of Paulsboro head coach Joseph Foglein. And I know that we faced Paulsboro twice this year, but now it'll be the third time this year that we'll see a member of the Foglein family face off against Audubon. For the Pennsville Eagles, it'll be Kyle Cahill, #1, the senior, Jake Isaac, a junior, Morris Till, a senior, Jared Vanderstor, the team's leading scorer at 9 goals this year, a senior, Hayden Manning, a junior, Matt Miller, a senior, Stone Mummink, a sophomore, Dylan Waller, a junior, Dan Conroy, a senior, Steve Fatcher, a freshman, Kyle Willis, spelled with a C, by the way, a senior, and that's all we have. That's all she wrote. But Kyle Cahill in the goalkeeper today. He's getting some practice in over there. Has 186 saves this year, which is the interesting thing about Pennsville. If you look in the lower third of your screen, take a look at that goal differential. The official number is 32-29. So their goal differential is +3, but 5 of their 8 wins have been shutouts, and 5 of their 9 losses have also been shutouts. So let's take a look at the pregame previews, again brought to you by DJK Roofing, your #1 South Jersey roofing supplier. Looking back at what Pennsville has to offer, you know, let's take a look. Let's have them fly like an eagle, you know. 8-9 this year in 2022, 5-5, all even up in the Tri-County Classic Division. They went on a 5-game win streak from September 13th to the 26th of the same month, beating Salem, Woodstown, Clayton, Wildwood, and Paulsboro. They followed up that streak with losing the next 6 of 7, including a win versus Salem, stuck in the middle of that. You have, as we said, 5 of Pennsville's 8 wins were shutouts, and in fact 4 of them were 1-0 wins, which probably means that the offense didn't do a whole lot, but then Cahill behind the goalpost did an amazing job at GK. But 5 of their 9 losses were also shutouts as well, so that'll be something to consider, that this team is just a low-scoring team. They don't give up a lot of goals, but they also don't score a lot of goals. Their actual best win in terms of differential was a 7-0 win, as we mentioned just a couple of seconds ago. That kind of wedged-in win versus Salem in the middle of that 6-7 skid. But in 2021, they lost in the first round of the South Jersey Group 1 playoffs versus Palmyra, and they did the same to Riverside in 2020. Now, looking on the flip side, Audubon has had quite the tumultuous playoff runs over the last 10 years. Looking back, is this the year? We'll have to see. The 9 seniors that graduated last year, sure hope so, or also sure wish it was them. Looking back to 2010, which is the first year that NJ.com offers record keeping, you can see that the last 3 years were beating a team and then losing to Haddon Township in the second round. That was Glassboro, Wildwood, and Woodbury, although in 2020 they also had these special Southwest, Northwest, Northeast, Southeast brackets that were a lot different than what we're used to. But all is the same in the end, losing to Haddon Township in the second round. That cannot physically happen this year because Haddon Township went on a huge run and is now the #1 seed. We'll take a look at the official bracket in a minute, but looking at 2018, they did the same thing. 4 straight years they lost to a team in the second round. Now, consider that the winner of this game will face either Burlington City, the #15 seed, or Glassboro, the #2 seed. So if Audubon wins and then has to play Glassboro, that will be a tough uphill battle for him, for this team going forward. The last time that Audubon lost in the first round was 2017 versus Shalleck. And then after that, again, semifinals in 2016. That was the first year that they were actually in the Group 1. 2015 and backward, rather, they would be in Group 2. Because Audubon was a bigger school back then, and also your placing in the group, whether you're Group 1, 2, 3, or 4, depends on how many students are enrolled. So since Audubon is a small school, they enlist in Group 1. But 2014 was their best year yet, and it's the one that I've compared it to, you know, all throughout this year. It's the first time since 2014 that we've had an above 500 record. It's the first time since 2014 that we've won more than a dozen games in a season. It's the first time since 2014 that we've had a goalie dilemma and then have to solve it. And there you go. However, in 2014, Audubon was also a bigger school with a lot more resources at its hand. They beat Deptford, tied versus Sterling, but then beat them in PKs. Middle Township, which is just above Cape May and Cape May Courthouse, and they lost to Cinnaminson in the Group 2 final. And then before that, second round. So, looking back from 2010 to 2021, in 8 of those years, Audubon lost in the second round. Now, am I dooming and saying that Audubon won't make it past the second round this year? No. But if we do take a look at the bracket for the 2022 boys soccer playoff, that's the wrong tab, excuse me. There we go. So here's the boys soccer tab as presented by NJ.com. You can see the matchups today, Haddon Township versus Wildwood, 1 versus 16, Gateway versus Shalleck. There was originally a controversy over whether Gateway would be permitted into the playoffs due to a altercation versus Audubon in the night game, and also versus along with that, Riverside and Woodstown. Audubon did beat Woodstown earlier in the year, but lost to Riverside in a scrimmage. Woodbury and Palmyra, Pennsgrove and Clayton, Buena / Buna and Pittman. If Gateway was removed from the playoff bracket, then they would have played Buena, but instead they are spared and they have to play Pittman. Then Audubon versus Pennsville and Burlington City versus Glassboro, with Audubon being the 7th seed, their highest ranking in quite a long time. But you know what this means? I mean, you know, 2nd seed we have to play, assuming that Glassboro beats Burlington City, which you never know. 16 seeds have done improbable things in the past, but looking at statistics and looking at probability factors and everything like that, if Audubon does play Glassboro, it'll be an uphill battle. But we haven't, you know, we've beaten them before, and we could beat them again. So let's take a look now as we go forward. We got about 8 minutes left before the game is supposed to start, so we have ourselves a good battle going forward. Fans are lining from left to right, and we have ourselves a good one in store. Audubon and Pennsville will be starting in just a couple minutes. We'll be right back from Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, flying solo here from the Green Wave Park. We'll be right back.
This side?
Yeah.
All right, I was asking.
Maybe I'll switch that back.
All right, we are back
We'll do that too, right?
from Audubon High School at the Green Wave turf just down the road from the 850 student building. Audubon and Pennsville are going to be lining up on the line. Pennsville is still meeting in their huddle. However, what a day for some playoff soccer. Beautiful weather, 64 degrees and clear. It said high humidity, but I do admit that was when I read it off in the morning, so it definitely has changed. It is not humid right now, not a cloud in sight. Just blue sky, just like the Electric Light Orchestra song from 1976. But wind is still prevalent, blowing west to the northwest. Probably, well, right now it's probably different than 6 miles an hour. I'll have to wait until I get live updates going forward. But right now here in Audubon, if my service does want to work, I guess you won't know what the wind is. Let's just say it's pretty windy, which doesn't affect the play as much as you would think it is, or as much as you think it does, because Audubon and Pennsville, going forward, looking at Audubon, I was talking to Matt, a couple broadcasts ago, and he was saying that the wind doesn't really affect much as it would in baseball or football with the aerodynamics of the ball. The ball will find a way. It just kind of works like that. But meeting at the center line, there is Pennsville's coach on the right side of your screen, Derek Foglein, who also, like we said, is the younger brother of Paulsboro head coach Joseph Foglein. So this will be fun. 80 minutes of playoff soccer coming up next from the Green Wave Turf. I'm Dan Wilkins here on DWB. We'll be right back. Just about to roll here from the Green Wave Turf, just a couple of minutes down the road from the Audubon High School. I'm Dan Wilkins here on DWB with playoff coverage of Audubon Green Wave soccer. Between the Pennsville Eagles and the Audubon Green Wave, Audubon looking at the 7 seed. They will play the number 10 seed. If Audubon wins today, whoever wins this game, they will play the winner of number 15 Burlington City versus the number 2 Glassboro Ball Club. But looking at the playoff bracket is brought to you by NJ.com. You can see Haddon Township playing Wildwood, Gateway versus Shallock, Riverside and Woodstown, Woodbury and Palmyra, Pennsgrove and Clayton, Buna/Buena and Pittman, Audubon and Pennsville, and Burlington City and Glassboro. If we were to win that, we would play either Pennsgrove, Clayton, Buna, or Pittman. Now keep in mind that there was a little bit of a controversy that would have actually exempted, or rather not exempted, but more kicked out Gateway of the playoffs. You know that during the Tuesday night Lights game versus the Gators, there was an altercation that started about 45 minutes into the game, just as the second half had started, between 2 Gateway players and some Audubon players. A skirmish erupted, and overall it was actually really nasty, but looking back, they had another one. Pennsville with their big ball club now breaking from the scene, but we'll focus back in on Audubon's circle, small and intricate. But Gateway had another altercation versus Lindenwold in their night game at the Gateway senior night on the football turf. But they were almost expelled from the playoffs because of it, because of apparently there were allegations that players were spitting on each other. And you could hear they just broke from the huddle. So we'll be ready to go. But Gateway was eventually allowed in, and 2 players that were instigators were suspended from school and kicked off of the team. We're just about to get started. 80 minutes to go from Audubon. Hassan Kasich in front of us. Audubon on the left side of your screen with green and yellow jerseys. Pennsville on the right side of your screen with white jerseys and blue shorts. And playoff soccer is underway from the turf.
Thank you.
Wiltsey goes for a little bit of a trip, and this will be taken by Pennsville's number 17, Dylan Waller, one of the starters here this afternoon, as Jason Stockland takes this one to Kina, and that one will be called out of play right there. So that'll be how we set things off. Yeah, the starting lineup for Pennsville, if you weren't here for the pregame show, was Kyle Cahill in the goal with 186 saves this year. Along with that, Jake Isaac, Morris Till, Jared Vanderstor, Pennsville's leading scorer with 9 goals this year, and now going for a little bit of a slide as a Pennsville player. That might actually be Vanderstor, although rather that's Morris Till. This will be taken by Jake Isaac to Ben Cameron, but the rest of the Pennsville starting lineup includes junior Hayden Manning, Matt Miller, Stone Mimink, Dylan Waller, Dan Conroy, Steve Thatcher, Kyle Willis with a C, and then you have yourself all the other players that are going to be probably getting in at some point to alleviate the starting 11 of some energy. This will be taken to Pennsville's number 12, and it'll go to my left foot. And it'll go to Asen Bannell, our ball runner, as it's thrown in. And that will go to Pennsville's number 17, Waller, as a throw-in violation voids them possession of the ball. And then goes out to Thatcher, and it's out of play. Thrown in by Thatcher. Bounces off the head of Jake Isaac, the senior. And that'll be out of play. I had to have a good conversation with the referee closest to our screen. She's a retired teacher and former substitute teacher, and who taught for 42 years. And one of the things that she said in regards to why soccer this year in all of NJSIAA competition has less games is because of the fact that there's no bus drivers anymore. And I didn't even really think of that until she brought up a very good point. There was a game that was supposed to happen at Gloucester Catholic, and Gloucester Catholic plays at one of the elementary schools, I believe. They play at a field that's at one of the elementary schools, and what the bus drivers had to do, the younger kids were the primary resource, the primary need and goal. So what the bus drivers needed to do was they needed to take them home first and then take the soccer team to Gloucester Catholic. So the game that was supposed to start at 3:45 ended up not getting underway until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Kyle Cahill. We'll send this one to number 17, Waller. And almost a shot by Kina, doesn't go. About 3.5 minutes in, no score, as this will be a throw-in next to the corner by Hassan Kasich, Turkish-American. And that won't be a goal kick, as it was just inside the yellow lines, but kudos to the official for being clear, because a lot of them use shorthand or terminology that, folks like myself might not recognize right away. Here's a line drive. It's going to go to Hayden, who's going to head it. It'll go to Kasich. Off the head of Miller. It'll go out of play. That one's kicked up in the air by Morris Till. Off the head of Stockland. Goes out to Tyler. Tyler's going to send this one out towards Miller. And a can of corn save for Kyle Cahill, the senior goalkeeper. Cahill will line this one up. He'll send this one away. And it was going to go to Jared Vanderstor, their leading scorer, but it gets stopped by Stockland. Actually goes out towards Mike Tomasetti on the sideline. Beautiful, beautiful landscape from from behind the field, you can see the leaves starting to change as it is October 27th. I just remember when Audubon did the second round of playoffs in the game that they were eliminated versus Haddon Township, it was on my 16th birthday, November 4th. And now the Group 1 final is a day after my 17th birthday. So all these shortened amount of games, because it was 22, and now it's 18, and also less days of rest, I guess you could say, between the rounds, because the next game that Audubon would have to play if we advance would be on Halloween on Monday versus, again, the winner of Burlington City and Glassboro. This will be kicked by Morris Till, who sends this one out towards Tyler and also towards number 36, Kyle Willis. Goes out to Vandersteer. Three on one, Kina, Hayden, and RJ going all over number 11, Hayden Manning. And that one is over and onto the netting behind the goalpost. This will be a goal kick. Cahill will send this one away. Up in the air by Kasich, and it'll go out of play. We'll actually go over the barricade of spectators and out towards Miss Brown, the Haviland elementary teacher. That one's over his head, goes to number 20, Steve Thatcher. Back out to number 19, Dan Conroy. And Willis almost had that one, but that's out of play.
She walked in and she's like, shows me champagne, bought all this stuff.
This one will be thrown in. Wiltie's got it. This one is out of play. One goes out to the sweeper, Giordano. And out towards Ben Cameron. And passed over the head. And trying to get to Bannell is number 2, Jake Isaac, but it doesn't go. And whistle's blowing, maybe waiting for a signal. But lining this one up will be Dylan Waller. I don't know exactly. Oh, and a yellow card for not the head coach of Pennsville, but that's what that was all about. There must have been the magic word said. That's either Joe McCloskey or Jake Slusher, because that is not the young Derek Fogling that I got to meet before the game. That was one of the assistants. So, and actually, Fogling is standing only a couple feet away from the scorekeepers, Griebel and Amber Romanowski. So. And goes over the head, back out to Blaze, who's going to head it a little backwards, goes out to Tony. And that one's out of play. Charging on that play was number 16, Stone Mamink, who I was informed his father recently passed away. So please, prayers and thoughts and condolences to his family at that time, because that is such an unimaginable loss. With the loss of a parent, father. So he is playing today for his late father. So best of luck to his family during that very, very difficult time. We're just about 10 minutes in, actually just about 5 seconds shy of 10, although that is unofficial. And considering that yellow card technically does stop the clock, I don't know exactly what is the threshold for that, but that is a free kick by Isaac that goes over and into the construction site behind the field.
Huh? Hey!
So Bantle will kick this one away in the yellow goalkeeper's jersey with those brand new white and orange gloves bought by yours truly, Matt Wagner. He, as we said in the pregame show, fulfilled on his promise that if Trent Bantle finished the season with shutouts, because he did have 6 consecutive shutouts to end the season, that he would buy him brand new goalie gloves, and that's exactly what happened. Let's zoom in on those real quick. Those do look nice. They're actually not even orange at all. They're looks like some sort of neon combination. So Matt will probably be watching at some point, although he won't be here. As we said on Monday, he hydroplaned his car on the highway, and his ribs and wrist are hurting. So while he can't be here, he'll still be supporting his former high school, the Green Wave. Kina's going to set up a shot to RJ, but it goes right through him and back out to Hayden Manning, who sends this one towards midfield and out towards the sideline, and it will just now roll out of play towards the goalie coach, Mike Colleen. Also, congrats to the girls soccer team. They defeated Salem soundly, 9-0 it was, 4-0 it was at the half. And Audubon put in 5 more goals at the end. In fact, I was looking at the girls soccer bracket, and only one game, Gloucester and Woodstown, was not a shutout, and it was 2-1. All the rest were shutouts, and a lot of them were convincing ones too. So, congrats to Audubon. They will now play Clayton on Sunday. This one will be sent away by Cahill. Gets a good run up to it, sends a good punt away, just shy of midfield, headed in the air by Wiltsey. It comes on down to Waller. Cassick got a little bit of a toe ball on that. Wiltsey now bounces it up in the air, working side by side with Waller. He tries to send a soft shot away. Cassick going to set him up, but it goes right over his chest. That was probably not the intention of that. Now it goes out to Heller, and this one will go way out into the... Actually, no, it bounces back into play. I thought it was going to go out towards that abandoned fitness place parking lot, because they got some folks. I'm sure the parking lot for this game is packed, considering the turnout of the fans from both sides of the aisle. So you have yourself overflow parking over there near the what I like to call the Embezzlement Golden Corral, and also the Goodwill store that resides back there. Tony got it off of his head. It goes back out to Waller, who trips up. Kina now stops this one. Goes past everyone. This will be probably something for Cahill to set up. And he does. But now running for it is Heller right at the corner, and he kicks it out. Who gets possession?
You have a grandson playing, Mr. Garrity?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh? Which one, so I can card him?
I don't know if you just picked up that line, but the referee, who must know the Bantle family, was talking to the oldest child, Garrity, who is I believe a senior in college, but Hayden running with a full head of steam. And this one will go to Cahill, although no, it does not, as the setup by Willis and Till prevents that from being a problem. If you're just tuning in, just under 14 minutes in from Audubon, Pennsville and Audubon Eagles and Wave facing off in the round of 16 from the NJSIAA South Jersey Group 1 playoffs. I find it really astonishing that there's, at one time during a soccer season, there's maybe 20 to 25 different brackets going on at once. You have North Jersey, Group 1 through 4. Actually, not just that. North Jersey is so densely populated because of the proximity to New York City that you have yourself North Jersey Section 1, Group 1, and Section 2, Group 1. That one is saved by Cassick, just about a foot away from the yellow line of separation. Wiltsey's going to set one up, doesn't go, and that one's a can of corn for Cahill. But, you know, just random observations aside, you have North Jersey Section 1 and Section 2. You have Central Jersey Groups 1 through 4. You have South Jersey Groups 1 through 4. And even in football, they're starting Group 5 now because of these schools that are just absolutely giant, unimaginably giant. And you also have the non-public bracket for private schools. So just at this time, there's like... I mean, it's just incredible how many games are going on at one time, if that makes sense. But you can watch at least one of them on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Shameless promo there. But just about 15:30 in, this will be taken on the far side of the field by Kyle Willis. One of the things that Foglein pointed out to me before the game, he said, because I always ask the coach about pronunciations, but that one is kicked out of play. I always ask the opposing coach about pronunciations because I don't know how to say everybody's name, and he said, well, the most unusual thing on my roster is this guy Kyle Willis. He, even though he has a C instead of a K in his name, still pronounced the same, Kyle. And I thought, well, that's easy enough to remember. He actually underlined the C like a good 3 or 4 times on my roster to make you remember it's not Sile, it's Kyle. One's out of play by Walker. Now a quick throw in by Heller. It goes right past Kasich out towards the Red Rocks. It's out of play. Some pom-poms flying on Pennsville's side with a little bit of a amalgamation of Audubon students and Pennsville fans, and also Audubon fans as well. Audubon fans usually stationed to my left, but usually the students line up to my right. It's not even just a custom area, it's just kind of how it is. It's kind of where people choose to set up, because all the people usually set up over here in their lawn chairs and everything of the sort. Rolling around is Kina. He gets back up with ease. One goes back out past Blaze to Tony. Threat thwarted, and it goes out towards Willis. And it's out of play on the Pennsville sideline. I keep wanting to say Gateway because their jerseys look very similar to Gateway, and also I was talking a lot about it on the pregame show due to the controversy in the playoffs, or rather the controversy of whether they should even be in the playoffs to begin with. And personally, I agree with the decision that the NJSIAA administrators made, where the kids that were instigating the fights and controversies, they were suspended from school and kicked off the team. And instead of punishing the team altogether, you instead punish the offenders and then kind of reprimand those that may have been in the supporting cast. Thrown in by JJ, the sophomore. That goes right past Wiltsey. It seems like Pennsville is doing good on defense, which is exactly what I said before this game. Their goal differential is +3, but at the same time, that is 32-29. So yes, they have not given up an egregious amount of goals, but they also haven't scored a lot either. So this game could very well go 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. I don't imagine this being a high-scoring game at all like the first round was last year versus Glassboro that was streamed on DWB, but still, the point stands that, you have a lot of people around here who believe in the Green Wave to go far every single year. Do they go far every single year? That's not a guarantee. But what happens, happens. It's that kind of deal. But Heller tried to get something out of it, but it doesn't go. And a new sub in for Pennsville. Shane Puckett in, and coming out is Matt Miller. This will be thrown in by number 20, Steve Thatcher. Bounces it once, gets ready to go, gets a good run up of a couple steps, fires that one in. It goes back out to Jared Vanderster, and Tony gets that one away. Good one there, Ben. Over to head of number 6, Michael Angelo. Yes, that is his name, Michael Angelo. He's in the game, and that's going to be out towards the sideline. I know I am a witty person, but no. It reminds me of Woodstown baseball. There was a guy named Jake Berger, and I always made burger jokes. It's not like I'm making fun of them for their name. I'm just making something witty out of it. I can make something witty out of anybody's name. Although burger jokes are a lot more easier to appeal than Renaissance painters from the 1500s. Bennell sends this one away. It'll be short, and not usual for Bennell to have that short of a punt, but it'll be a goalie war as now Cahill sends this one up in the air on a huge run-up, goes back down to earth. Wiltsey's got this one, sends it to Kasich. And coming up to stop him was Puckett, and now Puckett to Heller. Now he's to his backside, 2-on-1, trying to set him up. Kinda running over the goalie like a 18-wheeler truck, and that one will be no call because I think that was just, you know, kind of wrong place, wrong time. There's a difference between charging a goalie and knocking him down than, you know, almost like roughing the kicker or roughing the punter in the NFL. It depends on whether it was, you know, it kind of depends on happenstance, really. Up in the air, coming back down. I'm bringing it to earth as Wiltsey.
Let's talk, wait!
Stopping it is Vanderster. Right off the center of the chest of Willis, right around the stomach. That's not where you really want to hit the ball coming at full speed. If you're going to hit it, you hit it from a certain angle on your forehead. If you try to get it off the center of your chest, you have a little bit more protection there in your ribs, but you don't have any ribs in your stomach. So, you know, there's a lot of flack that goes on there, and you know, just less protection. Bennell coming in and jumps for a save, trying to get away from Jake Isaac. Pennsville Jr. went charging after him on that one. Here comes a punt. Sends this one almost directly to midfield, but it's stopped by Wiltsey. This one will go out towards Morris Till. Morris Till has it. He will step around and get a kick to his other number 5, Jason Stockland.
Oh, what?
Stockland to Homa, who has a little bit of trouble keeping the ball on his feet. Sends it out to JJ.
I'm happy.
Up in the air, trying to send it off as Thatcher goes out to George. George now to Kasich. Sophomore to sophomore, and that one is a huge hit. Thatcher seems to be phased none the wiser, but one goes back into Pennsville's possession, and that one will go to our left to the Bennell family and their photographers. Now Nico Natale is in, as his mom yelled from the right side. That's how I knew. Nico is in, and out is Kasich. I thought I saw one other fella coming in, but Nico flapping up the crowd, being quite vocal. But now Dylan Waller sends this one in to number 11, Hayden Manning. And that one will be out of play towards the softball backstop. Yeah, that's what's great about this facility, you know, the multi-purposefulness of it. I guess that's not a word, but, you know, kind of that deal. But, you know, like sometimes after this game is done, if there were to be a Pee Wee soccer league that was going to play here, they divvy the field up into 2 sections, and they have 2 games going on at the same time. But now, Tyler, oh wow, Cahill got blocked by his own man, and it goes back the other way. I guess whoever had a stronger punt must have been the one that was favored. That one grazes off the head of Wiltsey, goes back out towards Kina. Kina's going to try to set up a shot versus Till, but now it's stopped. Kina now to Stockland, 5-on-5, number 5 on number 5, if that makes sense, and it's picked up by Cahill. Up in the air, off the head, back to back is Isaac. Bannell's going to try to save it, and a conglomerate of people meet at the goal stop, and there is obviously going to be something going back the other way, as now Natale to Hayden. Tyler looking for his 18th goal of the year. That's going to be too far out for it to be contestable, and it will be a play. One's out. Wow. Oh my gosh, that punt might be the farthest one I've seen in a long time. Oh my gosh, that came through the air like Halley's Comet. That one goes out to Waller. Is now coming in for a slide is Blaze. To Kaina, who brings it to sophomore Ronnie. And RJ to Tyler. 25-02. This is going to be the contested game of the year in terms of how close it is and how close it will be. Audubon finished off the regular season with a 1-0 win versus Maple Shade, and they only scored in the second half. And Mike Tomasetti told his guys, he said, yes, we won, but not in the way that we wanted to. Maple Shade was not, in his opinion, on the same level as them, and he thought that they should have won by more. So that's where that dilemma comes in. Yes, you win, but by how much matters. There's a kick by number 38, Brody Wiggins, and that one is way up in the air. I had to duck down because I didn't know where that ball was going, but now Tony has it. Goes back out, rolling along the line, kind of hugging it a little bit there, but now it goes out to Puckett.
Good work, please.
A little bit of a convergence at the center between LaFrance and Miller. Now Kaina's going to try to get something going here. Oh, wow, that was so close. Oh. Now another sub coming in, number 10, Maddox Ephelis coming in. Rather, Maddox Ephelis, excuse me. And now coming out will be number 19, Dan Conroy. So Ephelis in and Conroy out. This will be a goal kick by Till. And a line drive off the head of Heller. This one will roll, and Natale will not get there in time. A very quick throw here from Miller. Goes off of Puckett. Back out towards number 11, Hayden Manning. And that one rolling along the ground is Maddox Ephelis. So he'll get back up though. This one will be, I believe, kicked in or no. It looked like he was going to set it up to kick, and I guess he will. Just his body language was throwing me off a little bit. Morris Till throwing it in, rather kicking it in on a free kick. Gets a slow run up, gets it off, and kind of heads it. That almost played to Pennsville's advantage. And now Bannell has it. I think Puckett was going to go after Bannell and try to get that ball back in his possession, but it didn't work out. And this one is another punt that doesn't go their way, although it does go back into their possession. Natale will stop it. Excuse me, the camera's not on the right spot, sorry. Sometimes I'm watching the game and I'm not watching where the camera follows, so my apologies, but that's just kind of how it is. Over the head of both Stockland and LaFrance, and it goes out of play. Back in play, off the center of the chest of Wiltsey. Wiltsey with a very soft shot intended for Stockland, up in the air, kind of heads it, tries to get a graze on it. Natale with a line drive shot that doesn't go.
Hey, good work, Reed.
It's a frustrating first half so far, even though the score is zilch. Still just frustrating. At halftime, I'm going to take a look at the brackets and see if anything has changed, whether we can give you some scoring updates, as this one will be sent away by Till, who seems to be their resident man for these kind of kicks. Good kick there. It does bounce off the center of the chest of Maddox Ephelis. It'll go to Wiltsey. Wiltsey really doing some intricate footwork, getting it to Homa. Had to get that ball back in their possession or keeping it in their possession somehow. He had to do something. And just to the right, that perspective really does throw you off on the where that ball will land. But now it goes back out to Hayden. Hayden with a shot, and it doesn't go. So close. Doesn't go. Up in the air. Way up there. Coming back down for it. And Homa sending it away. Off the head of Kaina.
Good Jay.
Three on one, outnumbered. A shoulder-to-shoulder push by Kyle Willis. And I think Wiltsey got a little bit ahead of himself there. See who the ball runner is on the other side. Not sure. Oh, it's Mr. Finn King. He's done a couple of games for us this year. I believe they're setting up for either a corner or a free kick for Hayden, and it will be a corner. Just like Pennsville probably has Morris Till as their resident goal kick guy, Hayden Wiltsey is the resident corner kick guy for Audubon. He's on the left side of your screen. We've zoomed out so you can see the whole thing. Here we go. Oh, it stays in play though. RJ might be able to get a rebound. He does. He fools out Efelis. And that one will also stay in play. This ball just will not quit. This play will not quit. But now it's back in Pennsville's possession, and the threat is thwarted. It goes up off the head of LaFrance, comes back down. Giordano was going to have it, but instead passes the baton to Stocklin, who goes for a rumble and tumble, and he will stop the play there. So a long and valiant effort, but just no goals out of the end result, rather.
Pretty exciting game so far.
Yes. That one goes to Kyle Cahill to the right side. And we'll go to Morris Till again. About the 20th time so far. But again, you know, it's just like how Hayden Wiltsey. I just remember that first Paulsboro game this year, very early on in the season, like the second week of September. He had like, I'd say maybe 10 corner kicks in the first half. Which last year there weren't that many of them. But then it's just kind of where you place the ball, where you put your guys. Goes out of play to Kaina. Looks like Kaina will throw this one in to Hayden. This one's going to be set up for Nico, who has 2 goals on the regular season. Now running over to goalie at full speed, and it looks like he may have hurt himself. Both Nico and the goalkeeper are down. They had a nasty collision. Nico's on the left side of your screen. Cahill's in the center. And Nico's mom went out towards the yellow line to check on him, and he does get up. Both of them do. Just seemed like maybe both of them got the wind knocked out of them because of the fact that it looked like his knee had gone into Cahill's stomach, and that's where the problem arose. So hopefully he's okay, and they will go from here. And we'll be back underway. Till will kick this one. That was, again, probably really close for Audubon to get a goal, but it turns out just not to be. No cigar on that one. Goes off the head of Manning. And Kaina will send this one out to Tyler with a little bit of a discreet pass. Another one to JJ, trying to get this one away, and a high save by Cahill draws the support of the Pennsville faithful. They got themselves a very good goalie here in Cahill, but that's why it scored 0-0, you know? 32-40 unofficially. RJ trying to make something happen. Running again with just the power of a racehorse, and Nico, oh man, that was rough. He tried to get the kick, but ended up buckling himself in the process.
Catch him, RJ. Good work, RJ.
And now another collision, and it looks like we'll have maybe a card here. Number 42, Cohen Renier, for Renier.
Watch yourself, 20.
As RJ is told to watch himself, because that was a bit of an aggressive takedown, I guess you could say, but this one will be sent away by Till. And that one goes right past him, intended for Fellas. And now 4 new subs coming in. Isaac is back, Waller is back, Jacob Vanderstor is back, and can't tell who else is out, but number 48, Donnie Crick, also being taken out of the game. So it looks like they had most of their reserves in to give the starting 11 some rest, and now their leading scorers are back into the match. Bennell will send this one away. Line drive kick again, maybe not too much power on it, but it goes to RJ, who kicks it off the side of his left foot. And now Wiltsey to Natale, who's going to try to make amends for his past mistake, but being guarded is number 19, Dan Conroy, big fella, and that one is out of play. Liner off the head of Wiltsey. On the ground, goes right past Casey Cameron, goes to Heller, who's going to kick this one over to Wiltsey, who kind of, again, does a discreet pass to his older brother, Hayden. He stops, starts, and goes again. It's blocked. Does it go? Yes! About 5 minutes left in the half, and the stalemate is broken on a convoluted play, and it looks like Kaina was at the head of it all. Wiltsey disrupted the goalie's timing and then made it happen when Cahill went down, and then there was really nobody around to otherwise block the goal. So that's how the first goal of the game will go. And now Pennsville will have to climb uphill to get back in it. And not to say that they're not in it right now. One goal is no insurmountable fate, and that one is what's going to be a free kick for Audubon, because the foul on Vanderstur was sent down there pretty swiftly. Wiltsey has it in a swarm of white and blue. Headed back out now to Michelangelo, and that will roll right along the center line to George. Up in the air to Kyle Willis. Now Wiltsey has it. Going to try to set something up for Casey. Not really a striker in that spot, but even if he's playing out of position, he knows how to play. Probably will be in starting 11 next year, considering the graduates and the departing players, but... Nope, George kind of stutter-stepped a little bit. Now he gets it back in on attempt number 2. That one's going to roll. It'll be taken in by Mike Angelo, and it will go out of play, saved by Finn from going into the rain guard. And kind of not going to get there. George is there. Again, about 3 minutes left in the half unofficially. Gonna try to get it going. Hayden trying to set it up, and we'll see. No, it bounces just off of Cahill. What a roll. 2-on-2, Isaac versus LaFrance. Here it goes. Trying to set something up, and no good. But it is good for Bennell, just not for Pennsville. Hayden's going to try to set this one up to Casey Sharky Cameron, and it goes to RJ. Going to try to set up goal number 2, but it is wide left. So no good on that one. But again, about 38 minutes in, you're watching coverage of Dan Wilkins broadcasting coverage of Audubon Green Wave playoff soccer. It's 1-0 versus the Pennsville Eagles. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at the Dan, D-A-N, Wilkins, W-I-L-K-I-N-S, show, S-H-O-W, @gmail.com. any sponsorship inquiries should also go to that email, as we are looking for sponsors for the 2023 baseball season. It'll be $50 for a standard sponsorship set, $75 for a segment or a portion of the broadcast to be dedicated to your brand or business, and $125 to have a commercial filmed at your location, a 30-second advertisement that will be shown on DWB broadcasts. If you have any questions about that sponsorship deal, again, Dan Wilkins Show is where to go. Heller trying to make a quick throw, considering that they probably have about a minute, if not less, time. LaFrance does win the ball, goes out to Kina.
He just kept running.
Kina to Hayden.
And I thought I was going to get broken.
And to Heller. He's going to try to set up maybe a desperation shot. Kina almost came in and got to Cahill, but no cigar on that one. And it'll be sent out by Cahill again. A long punt, sends it away towards the center. Some physical contact between LaFrance and Isaac. And now Bannell will stop and go again. Sends out to George Heller. Goes out to Casey. Casey to Tyler. Tyler trying to set something up, maybe. Oh, just wide left. You could feel the anxiousness of the Audubon crowd. You could just tell that there was a lot of there were a lot of people wanting that to be a goal, but obviously, as I said, the perspective is way different when you're setting up on this side of the field. When it's like a a night game that I'm not broadcasting, it's interesting seeing how different the perspective is when you're 50 feet down the line. That's a corner that's going to rub right along the goalpost. It's out of play. Trent very aware of the time. Casey having to throw it in, maybe not as quickly as they wanted to, and it won't be as quickly as they need to. 40 minutes down, 40 to go. They lead by 1 at half. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with your halftime report and more Green Wave soccer here in the round of 16 playoffs on DWB.